Hello. Welcome to the Ton. Thank you for clicking on our faces. This evening, we will be discussing part two of season three of Bridgerton. Now, ladies. Uh, so, I'll let you go first, you go first, because Danny and I did part one, and we had a lot to say about that part. But I'm interested to hear quickly, like, what did you think about part one of this season?
Part one. Well, you know, the allure of returning to the ton, it always excites me, mostly because even though the queen only usually gets a little couple, moments here and there throughout the series, I'm always excited to see what hair she's coming out with. I'm always excited to see another look from her.
Yes.
It's always in the fresh looks, always in the fresh updos, and it just gives every single time. And after fully just enveloping myself in the Charlotte Bridgerton story, it's just nice to see her again back in her bag, and back on the hunt to solve the mystery of Lady Whistledown.
Yes.
It's very exciting. And I will say, this is the most and very quick character growth I've seen in the entire series in this first segment for Penelope. Like, I feel like she kind of has been growing, but it's kind of been a slow burn for a long time up until this first part of the season.
Yeah.
And then she kind of just, for me, matured very, very quickly, but also kind of got to a point where she just has a complete abandon for I guess kind of the niceties that kept her as a wallflower. And so it's just very exciting to see that happen. The way that it happened, I'll delve into a little bit about how I feel about that a little later, but it was exciting to see her come out of her shell a bit, and exciting to see her just throw caution to the wind, lay her cards bare, see where it gets her.
Serving face, beautiful makeup, looking good.
Absolutely. It kind of felt like she got some work done. Am I crazy?
Like, maybe some filler, who definitely got a little work done is Colin. He got some Botox for sure, because that face was not moving, child. No expression, nothing. I said he must have had some Botox.
He looked amazing.
Stiff in the face, but very handsome. He's looking good this season. But I can agree. He should probably, they get the Shonda Rhimes enhancements for their season, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, something's going on there, and it works. It's working for me. We're still in the first part, so I'm not gonna, get into. Well, I'm gonna save that for the second half, but
we go right into spoilers. Full disclosure, this is a spoiler review. So if you have yet to watch the season, like the full season, part one and part two, you may want to go back and watch, our part one, and then come back for part two when you finish that, because we're going into full spoilers here. And we're delving right into part two. So for me, I wasn't much of a fan of part one. I feel like the love story wasn't giving. I feel like Colin and Penn was rushed and forced a little bit. I hate to say it, but it wasn't giving chemistry, in my opinion. But episode 4, the first episode of part 2, it got hot and spicy between the two of them. First of all, he had her in the mirror, titties out. Just
titties were tittying. This whole section, titties were tittying.
Yes.
And I was impressed.
She put it all out for the camera. And I know that probably has to be a very, I would be so nervous, and I'm sure she was as well. But she looked great, and they were serving spice this part of
She
the.
looked great, but I did not approve. I was yelling at the screen the whole time. Penelope, don't give it up.
Uh-huh.
Wait,
Yes,
wait.
yes. Because at this
And
point,
she gave it up.
he had just said, "Oh yeah, you want to get married to me?" No, the wedding ain't happened. She ain't getting no ring at this point. It's just promises, empty promises at this point. So,
I
In
was
modern
very upset.
in modern day, I would totally agree with both of you ladies. But because we do know that although he has picked up some F-boy tendencies while rolling through Paris and some of the
yes.
other countries he visited in his travels, I think he also picked up a lot of confidence. And I think that definitely helped bolster and enable her confidence so she can get her freak on.
But let's
Be
talk about
proud
this.
of her
What
for
else did
that.
he pick up? Messing with the brothel bitches two at a time. He was picking up a lot of things, probably a STI. If we
Oh
No!
gosh.
I hope not.
That didn't feel like confidence to me. Like she was saying, he came back as a fraud. That was a mask. He
Mm,
was still the same baby-faced, vulnerable Colin that he's always been.
hmm.
I don't think that was confidence at all. He could keep that. But he surely had the
Y'all,
confidence to take her in that dusty haunted mansion, as you called it.
not
And I
haunted
am
mansion.
still very upset about that.
Very much dusty haunted. He literally just took the tarp off the furniture. It was like, yeah, you trying to smash? That's literally like, what the hell? Dust still in the air. What are we
You,
doing?
you know, y'all, maybe y'all don't remember back when we were all 13, 14 years old and we were reading all the freaky books.
Okay.
You remember that era? And
Yes.
it was just, they were doing it everywhere. Okay. And when the hormones are raging, and it's way back then, they weren't bathing like that. The pheromones are flaring, the pheromones are pheromoning. And it's just like, yeah, we're going to ravish each other right now. That's what it's giving. I
In the
was,
I
dust.
don't know
I
about
was here
y'all, but
for it.
I was reading Goosebumps at that age,
Well, excuse me,
selecting the different scary
As
endings.
OG,
That's what I was doing.
excuse me, why? Because I was definitely reading them. I was reading the Vampire Lestats and everything.
wait a minute. And he was freaky too. I don't even want to
Yes,
hear it.
yes, he was.
About
But
to say.
to get back into Bridgerton now, not only did we see Colin and Penn getting it on, of course, we got a little bit more of our other couples. We got the return again of Kate and Anthony, still running hot and heavy. Um, they announced their pregnancy. The thumbs down. Why?
I'm not a hater. Let me say that they're one of my top couples. They're not at the bottom, but I was okay not seeing them anymore. I was okay with it. And the fact that they were just thrown in there, it just felt like a filler. I said it in the first half of the season that we didn't need to see them getting it on as much.
Yes.
And I'll say it again. We didn't need so many scenes with them. Because it
So
was just irrelevant to what was going on.
for me, I didn't mind seeing them as much in this second part, and I want to say it's because we got a little bit more balance between them and Penelope and Colin.
Mm.
Like Penelope and Colin definitely got more scenes together. I feel like in the second part, so the insertion of Kate and Anthony didn't feel as like abrasive. But I almost feel like this is what we would have gotten in season two had the Simon actor didn't, sign off
You're
to.
right about that.
Yeah, because they couldn't do that so
You think
much.
he's a fan favorite? Maybe that's why they kept.
They would have brought Simon. They would have rolled him out in season two had he have been still on it. Because remember when Bridgerton first came out, everyone was talking about the Duke, the Duke, the Duke. Everyone loved the Duke. So when he didn't sign back on for season two, they had to improvise. They said, "All right, we're not going to get too much of Daphne and the Duke, so we're going to focus heavily on Anthony."
I'll tell you who else was disappointing this season. Benedict. Once again, he's getting swept up in another sex affair. Why is it always a sex affair with him? Some pushing the boundaries. Before it was the sex parties with the motifs, and now
we
he's
got
getting his
Lady,
threesomes
Lady Arnold and
with
Benedict,
Lady Arnold and what's the guy's name?
the mystery man. Now, I want
Mystery
to talk
Man.
about this with you guys.
Worst name ever. Paul.
His name is Paul.
Paul.
With Paul.
Sir
Just Paul.
You know
Paul.
what? I wasn't.
When are we gonna get some story with some substance for Benedict? Next season? Sure.
Are you guys
One can
interested
only
in
hope.
it? That's the question. Look, let's keep it real. I know.
I'm here. I'm here for Benedict's arc. For me, it's like these what are they? These Bridgerton boys, what pushes them into getting a little bit more sophisticated, getting a little bit more outside of the ton and just that small bubble that Eloise complains about all the damn time, is their sexual awakening.
Okay.
And I think that that is what just really helps punch them into self-actualization. It definitely worked for Colin. He about to become the next Zane of the ton, right? I fear that what's his face? The Viscount, the new Viscount for. Sorry, is that Anthony? Anthony.
I think it's
Anthony.
I feel like Anthony was very, very guarded in whatever season that was. He was very, very guarded and kept things close to the chest and just was all about duty until he succumbed to his desire for Kate, right? That is what made him devote himself to his own needs over his duty to his family, his duty to Kate's little sister, right? This betrothal that should have never happened, right? Like their sexual awakening is what helps them mature and become the men that, say things like, you're the bane of my existence and you're the whatever of all my desires. Girl, yes. Sign me up. But you need to go to a brothel and get you some of that information. I'm here for that. Just before
I think I'm about over the sexual awakening of the Bridgerton boys. And another thing that kind of annoyed me was the mom, lady. Who would she be? What's her title now? Mama Bridgerton.
Yeah, Violet.
How she was giving her daughter such a hard time with her guy, the two quiet ones. Giving them such a hard time, saying that she's used to this whirlwind love and she's used to all of these things. Colin and Penelope were not giving that, ma'am, but you approved strictly because they were friends, childhood friends, but they never had that fire. Like you see other shows, other movies and stuff where it's like they finally get together and everybody's like, finally, everybody knew it but you. No one knew about Colin and Penelope. There were no fireworks. There wasn't even a hint of anything, not even from her best friend. And so I found it very weird that she was all supportive for that, but just kind of hesitant with their relationship.
I will say, let me stick up for Mama Violet, even though I don't like her that much. She's cool, but let me stick up on her, stick up for her, because she did mention later in the episode 8, I think, closer to the end, that she was so used to love being like these huge declarations and like also this instant connection, or at least like some sort of some love there, right? And I think in her mind she probably saw the love that Penn had for Colin at the very least, but everyone knew Penn had it bad for Colin. That was not
obviously
not.
No, the question, Eloise didn't know that Colin had it bad for Penn. That was the shocker. She was like, you didn't even tell me you was feeling my friend.
We're just like, what are you really mad about? We're going to get into Eloise and we're going to dig into that.
Yeah.
The mom was kind of just is not used to the quiet love, and they have the quiet love.
It
But
was quiet, but it conveyed like genuine. I felt it. I felt it between her. The way that they would look at each other without having to say all the unnecessary words. That should have been, she should have found that the most romantic of all. That in all of this noise and gossip and nonsense, that they only saw each other and they only wanted to be together. How is that not love right there? How is that not intense for you?
Violet got about 5 million kids. She could not be keeping up with all that little romance.
She ain't doing nothing else.
And then she probably did because the way their old little I don't want to do nothing for myself ass is going to tell her, hey, can you talk to the queen? On all the
And the fact that they were so similar, and you clearly saw that they were just the same. The fact that they just enjoyed sitting there in silence.
It was giving neuro spicy for me, and I really loved the way that they were able to connect on that. And I'll say, this is going to be so whatever, but I'll say for me, the most sweetest and romantic moment, other than all the, grand and poetic declarations of love at the end of every season, for me was between Francesca and Lord Martin. And him just coming to visit, just to sit with her in the quiet and just look at each other and just be with each other. That was so romantic and so sweet and innocent. And, it wasn't like emblazed passion, ripping the bodice and bearing some pink nipples. It was just love in a pure and wholesome way. And I just really appreciated that, because for me, like, this whole thing, all these stories very much so give, supermarket Fabio on the front of the cover of the book. And that moment was just very pure and sweet. I really loved that.
I got a question for y'all. So had we have not seen the spiciness on the couch, right? Had we have not seen that, would you rather be in a relationship like Francesca's and Lord Martin's, or that of Colin and Penelope?
Oh Lord, I'm gonna go ahead with Colin.
I'm picking Francesca and Lord, because they came in there equally committed, right? It wasn't no question of if you like me or if I got to do anything for you. Penelope still head over heels for this man, and he borderline halfway out the door sometimes.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead with Colin and Penelope, because I'm leaving here with something.
Wait, don't fake on Lord Martin, because he got a whole castle.
Because if you noticed, there was a little bit of foreshadowing in the end, where when he kissed her at the altar, she was like, almost like there is more, like, that's it. Like, it seems like she's going to want more, and she's going to open up like crazy later on, and he's not going to be able to deliver.
So,
or at least that's what I got from that moment.
That's it is actually, I have to agree with you on that's it, because that is what I thought when I saw her wedding gown or her wedding dress. But that said, between the two relationships, it's a little difficult for me, because to me, they have a similar nature in that, for me, now that we see that Colin and who is this white person in my head? Now that we see that Colin and Penelope finally have opened up and have those mutual feelings and are able to recognize them and are together, to me that's like the end of what Francesca and Lord Kilmartin Lord Kilmartin will be, where they're just at the beginnings of it. The reason that it happened so quickly in this season between Colin and Penelope is because their love story has been a slow burn, and it has been since they were children. It has been building since that time, and it just started as a friendship. It started as a friendship. Colin, remember, he didn't know himself until he went and slutted himself out in Paris. And then he came back talking to his friends like, hey, you guys, I know we're all out having this meaningless sex, but like, isn't there more? And they're like, more? Who could care for more? More of what? Meaningless sex? Sign me up. And he was like, okay, girl. And then finally he's like, oh, wow, like this beautiful, bustulous friend of mine who's like finally getting in her bag, dressing for her figure, not dressing for her mother anymore. And really coming into her own and like going for what she wants. Now, damn, that's opened my eyes. Like, I want that. For me, it's like, that's the end. I see that. I envision that for Lord Kilmartin and Francesca. And I think I will agree with Chrissy and say that I would probably go for Lord Kilmartin and Francesca, only because they're just at the beginnings. It's so sweet and pure, and they're just building upon it. And that is a very it's a very sensitive time, but it's such a beautiful moment in the relationship where you're building upon a connection. And that is like building that anticipation for the beautiful outcome that they'll hopefully have in their marriage, as well as the bedroom, because the neuropsyches know what they're doing.
Y'all riding for this man, but he didn't even tell the other guests. We don't even know who that is. I thought it was his sister or whatever. He didn't even tell her that he got married.
He's autistic.
She had to introduce herself.
He has autism.
It's hard to get mail.
That was our speculation. He did not introduce her. She had to introduce herself, and not even as his wife. She told her name.
Both of them are on the spectrum. We know this. We're gonna have to forgive them for certain things. But I tell you what,
and ride from Mr. Kilmartin.
Listen, first
I'm here for the part.
Penelope will forever be trying to prove herself in her marriage. I feel like she's forever always trying to win Colin over.
Not anymore. You think so? No way.
Yes.
I disagree.
Not in the way it ended. No.
Still, she's yes. Because Colin is just, as his mother said, he's just a sweet boy, right? He stands by his morals. That's the only thing that got them through to the wedding. It was because he feels an obligation. He feels like this is what he's supposed to do, and he's a sweet
duty.
Yeah. But
let me remind you of how Colin admitted that he was envious of her and all the things that she was capable of. I don't think she's proven herself anymore.
And you know what? You know what envy turns into? It don't turn into love. It turns into hatred. That's what envy.
You don't know that. He might actually have an impact on him and his writing and all that. Well, maybe she might want to kind of step off because she don't want to like overstep her boundaries. I can see that turning into resentment.
He feels inferior to her writing capabilities. This is something she wants to do. She's already established and good at it, right? And then he's going to pull. He's always forever going to pull that you like me more than I liked you. Forever.
So far, he seems like he's open to this progressive relationship. So far.
Well,
and they got a big
challenge.
So obviously they're doing well.
I agree. I think she challenged him multiple times about her self-actualization and how she wanted to go about moving forward with Lady Whistledown and with her column. I think now, they flash forward toward the end or whatever, but I think that argument, it is the argument for them. And I think it is a culmination of what you're saying, Chrissy. And it's kind of came to a head multiple times in the second part where he's just like, you need to do your duty as my wife and do what I say. And then when he failed trying to sway Cressida, he realizes, oh, maybe I need to listen to my wife because I made this worse. And I think that he has come down a bit off of his pedestal of, oh, I'm the husband. I know what's like that. We're moving on from that. We're moving past that. And with how young and kind of new this dynamic is between them, I think he recognizes that he's still learning how to show up for her and how to love her correctly, which is why she had to yell at him, love me 5 times in this part of the
Look,
season.
if you gotta tell a man love me, he don't really mess with you like that. And let me prove it to y'all that Colin don't mess with Penelope like that, because look at the ring he done gave her in.
Oh my God. All their rings look like that.
Look at the ring.
Some of the other
All their
rings
rings
that they
look
had.
like that.
Personally, I found it to be very unique, and I'm a person that really likes unique jewelry. And I hope to have a unique wedding ring someday for myself. But like, this is, I don't want something generic. Like, this love story is like a long time brewing, and this is something that looks, I mean, in our modern perspective, like, yeah, it's not eaten, but it's like, it's dynamic and it's different and it was unexpected, and I was actually pretty pleased with this choice.
I hated it. Not these
Hold
little
on. No,
pearls.
ma'am. No, see.
Pearls
You
for
don't
back
remember
then
what
was difficult.
Anthony's ring looked like that
I
he
don't.
gave?
Was it 4 little itty bitty pearls in this little?
I think it was one.
Well,
We
pearls
need to find
were
we
very
need to find a
difficult to
picture of
obtain
that.
back then.
I might have to look for one, because this ring wasn't given nothing. This ring was given. I found it in the attic, or I found it in the attic of this old haunted house.
Found in the attic. That means it's an heirloom. It's an antique. The family.
Thank you.
A family
Thank
heirloom.
you.
Well,
They weren't busting out the big carrots around that time, ma'am.
Shout out to the viewers. Thank you all.
Unless you were the queen.
Shout out to the viewers. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like the video if you like the video. To bring it back to Benedict, though, because there was a teaser at the end of the episode where they were talking about a masquerade ball happening next year, and apparently in the books, Benedict's love story comes to, like, he was introduced to his love at some sort of masquerade. Now, my question is, let's keep it 100, right? Let's keep it 100. For me, I'm not interested in seeing no love story with no bisexual man. Not to be hating on anybody, love who you love. But for me, any sex appeal just sucked it right up. I'm not down with for the bisexual man. I know some ladies are. Some ladies are cool with that. For me, I'm not about to mess with a bisexual man. That's me, right? But him having a love story with this woman, are they also going to continue his bisexualness in season 4? Or is he going to have 2 love interests, a man and a woman? Are we going
That'd be interesting if they did that.
I'm here for him and Paul really exploring that, because 2 hot guys banging is my dream come true, to be honest. I'd love to see that.
No,
I want to see more of that.
Like, I'm very much here for the gays. Like, I love me a good interview with a vampire. Lestat and Louis, my babies.
Absolutely.
Right?
1000%.
But as far as if I want to watch a Regency romance, I don't want to see the girl fighting for affections between a guy. I don't know. It's just me. Maybe it's a me thing. But he did come out as bisexual in this season. Was anybody surprised?
Not at all.
No.
I was surprised he wanted a woman. That's just me. But she was like more self-assured, very like, I am woman, hear me roar. So that actually makes that tracks for a bisexual man, I think.
Okay, yeah, he likes him a strong, very much in charge woman.
Yeah, somebody whip him in the shape.
Right. But you know what? Do you think that she kind of targeted him because she felt that he would be down for, the throuple kind of situation? Because I swear in earlier season, I think I said this in our part 1, that wasn't he given gay in season 2 or season 1? And I was like,
he was to me.
Huh?
He was to me.
Yes, he was very much given gay. I wonder if she sensed that and be like, oh yeah, he would be open for a throuple situation.
She had to have sensed that because her and Paul have done that before. They have definitely done that before. For me, though, I'm just like, in this situation, she was really feeling Benedict a lot, and bringing Paul in for this at this juncture was more of like to gauge if he's someone who is open to who she truly is, who is someone who delves into that and who is into like threesomes here and there, and who has friends who she has sex with, and who just is part of the, you know, I guess she's part of the family, low-key, in some ways. White lady, just get out of my y'all, I gotta go something here, but no, I just feel like she used this to gauge what kind of man he was outside of which she had already learned about him. She learned that he is he appreciates and and has admiration for a woman like her who is very assertive and self-assured and confident and will speak her mind. And that let her know that he's a little bit progressive, but this let her know that he's a little bit more progressive, which is just like her, which she did mention, like, you're so much like me. And now that I found you, I kind of want to keep you. And he was just like, I don't to be kept yet.
Now, were you guys surprised at that? Were you guys surprised that he turned down her, affections?
No.
Serious? No. Okay.
No.
I was a little shocked. He seemed like he was enjoying himself.
I think I'm okay without a Benedict arc, if we're being perfectly honest. Can we actually talk about, when we get a chance, my poor girl Cressida?
Yes.
My poor Cressida. She can't catch a goddamn break.
First of all, she did it to herself, ma'am. She did it to herself.
She is trying to survive out here. That's all. Do you see the crypt keeper that they were trying to put her with?
First of all, I was talking about this with my sister. She should have married him. She should have married him because that man was
gave that man 5 babies.
No, she should. This is, first of all, this is the Regency era. This man is about 97 years old. She could have killed that man in his sleep and nobody would have been the wiser. He died of natural causes. She would have got all his coins and would have been out here living the life like Lady Arnold out here banging boys up and down the town.
You heard it here first.
She's not really the brains of the operation to do that. Her mom really is the brains of the operation. If she were to have married him and poisoned him, it would have been her mom's machination. But her mom's idea.
The mom was coming through this season. She was coming.
I was here for the mom, except when she was doing
her
a little PAB with the husband. But she's just, But yeah, I my sentiments surprisingly were with Cressida this season. She finally had someone that she connected with on a deeper level, and someone that she could confide in. Yes, she finally had a friend, a real friend, not a friend that was just, at parties, like somebody that she felt like she could confide in, and someone she could be cool with, and someone that saw her. And then she realized, oh wait, no, Eloise is the effing worst, actually. And then not only did she get abandoned by Eloise with all Eloise's self-centered drama, she also got I'm not going to say abandoned by her mother, but to some degree she kind of, her mother had to wash her hands of the situation that Cressida ended up in, because it just was beyond fixing at some point.
But no, she came through for Cressida. She came even with the ghostwriting she did for down.
Kind of. Her mom had her own motivations for what she wrote.
Y'all know who I would be here for as far as the season and a relationship, because I feel like Eloise and Cressida was giving chemistry the whole time. And that's what really should have went down. I would be here for a season for Louise and Cressida, finally realizing that they have a little connection, because it was giving connection this season.
I didn't get that at all.
Really?
Eloise is a raging lesbian.
Facts.
Fully.
You think so?
Yes.
You can just tell by the gowns and ways that she styles her looks versus all the other girls who are out here really trying to get married, like really trying to put themselves out there. Not only is Eloise kind of just like at the balls or whatever, but she's also like dressing to hide her figure, hide her body, and just very, very modestly and almost childlike in a way that's just like, no, I don't want to be desired whatsoever. because I'm not willing to engage. I don't want to interact whatsoever, really, not even with the women here. But not only that, those blunt bangs are giving lesbian to me. I mean, there's a way to do a blunt bang that's like a little, sexy little sex kitten, and those are not it. Those are giving Daria.
I agree. I will be here for a season where Eloise realizes that she's a lesbian. And
well, maybe she'll discover that with our mystery guest that came with Kilmartin.
Oh yeah, I did sense that.
The cousin, you're right.
She might need a black girl in her life, because I think, not only do us black women just,
the black wife effect,
turn everything to gold that we touch. And embolden other women often.
Are we about to see the glow up on Eloise?
The bangs about to be gone, honey. They about to be gone next season.
They about to come curtains, girl. Curtain bangs.
I would be here for that. But as far as Cressida's mom goes, I want to touch on this because there was a scene where, did you guys see like her arm? There was like some sort of situation going on with her arm. And I was like, is she sick? Does she have
no. That was the ink from all the writing that rubbed on her arm from all the writing and
that's
rewriting.
Okay. I was like, what
Penelope ended up with the same thing after I don't remember which one it was, but she ended up with the same thing. She tried to quickly hide it.
With the ink on her hands. Okay. I was
like,
what happened? Is this a leprosy?
She just had more rewrites than Penelope usually does.
But
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Who do you guys think was fighting for their life the hardest? Lady, what's her name? Bridgerton? Mama Bridgerton?
Okay.
Or Mama Featherington?
Oh, Featherington got that dog in her. She got that fight. One thing she about to do
in her. My girl has been fighting for her life ever since season 1.
Facts, because first of all, she in poverty, right? She had to steal from the whole town to get shit together, right? She's a fighter. Her husband dead, and unlike with Violet, she doesn't have like a treasury of unlimited funds to fall back on, right? She doesn't have sons that can take over the title, so she's scared that her riches will be lost. Oh, Miss Lady Featherington, she got all girls for one. She broke,
husband dead, got scammed.
She
got
2 of them married and one of them to a Bridgerton. Come on.
2 of them married to 2 no title husbands. And can I just say, while we downplay them this whole full show, and they have no titles. They were much needed comic relief. The sisters, absolutely. But the husbands, I really, really enjoyed them this season.
They were cute.
They did have their little times where they chimed in, and it was quite memorable, quite funny and charming. And I did love that. I did love the sisters' respective love stories with their husbands and them discovering, oh, this is what sex is.
Yeah.
That part was hilarious.
Absolutely. And then I want to say, for me, yes, Lady Featherington is a survivor. She not gonna give up, and she not gonna stop. She gonna work harder. Yes. And she is the lady that I would like to have as my mother, because even though she was of the mothers that were presented in this season, because the mothers definitely showed up and showed out this second chapter. To me, she always wanted what was best. She did speak out of turn plenty of times, and speak without really knowing what's going on. But she always tried to keep Penn sharp. You know what I mean? She tried to keep Penn, I don't know. She hit Penn with some hard truths, but she didn't really know what the tea was fully. So despite not knowing what the tea was fully, she did try to keep her like, hey, look, you got him. All right. He's of a good name. Colin, speaking of Colin, he is of a good name. You don't want to tarnish his image. and you need to do what you need to do as a wife. This is what you need to do. Now, while she had some old school perspectives on the subject, I feel like what Penn did was take pieces of the seeds that her mom planted and kind of evolved that, and that's why she was able to come out triumphant. Because for me, you're right. Y'all are right. If I had to tell my husband what to do, and it's the same thing, love me. That all he wanted someone to instruct him what to do. How do I do this? What to do? And all she asked was to love me, stand beside me. You know what I'm saying? Be here. You know what I mean? Make it clear and apparent that you're not going to leave my side. You make it clear to me and make it clear to everybody else, no matter what type of moves I make, because I know what I'm doing. You know? Okay. But yeah, I really bang with Lady Featherington. Violet, I love her. She's amazing. She's so sweet, but she's a little bit too timid for me.
I agree. I feel like Lady Featherington ain't never missed yet. She always be right. She may go about it the wrong way, but she always be right on the dime, child. She always be right. That's why I love me some Lady Featherington. But when we get to the Lady Danbury and her drama with the brother, this was the most bullshit ass reason I ever seen to have some drama.
Thank you.
Who wrote this? So the whole time I'm thinking he is a rake, like he is a scammer out here in these streets, and he was just
the worst about this man,
right? And he was just a 10-year-old boy trying to save his sister from being out on the streets, and that's why she mad. Girl, if you don't get the hell out of my face with that Lady Danbury, like what is going on?
There were a lot of
35-year-old beef
that were like quick problems to kind of add into it. And there were a couple weird parts that happened that didn't go anywhere. That was like, okay, what the hell was that? One of them was the scene when Kilmartin was drinking with all of them in the bar on their, like, he was about to close down his bar. God, I never remember their names.
Kent, Lady Lord and Lady Kent.
Yes, Kent. Where he was about to close down his bar and he was like, oh, it's one last bottle. And they kept like pushing around the glass, like, oh, you drink it. Oh, you drink it. I should drink it. This might just be me, but I was like, is it poison?
Ma'am.
So ominous. And I'm like, okay, not poison then. And then the other scene was when I can't remember anybody's name. The sister who they were focusing on now, that was Wick Kilmartin.
Francesca
was at a ball and she kept staring at Penelope. And they kept focusing on her staring at Penelope. And I was like, what, does she know that she's Miss Whistledown? Like, why does she keep looking at her like that?
She's autistic like her man. She just be out here spaced out.
But they were like really focused on her, staring at her. And I wish we can like find that scene, a clip of that scene. Because I'm like, what, are we about to reveal something else? Is there certain parts that just kind of...
One thing I feel like they never really delved into, like they brought it up, but they didn't do much with it, was Lady Featherington is the real scammer of the whole season, right?
Hello?
She done stole from everybody in the town, and the old snitch was about to tell the whole world. And then, like, at the end of the season, nothing happened with that. I guess because Penelope gave birth to a son. Yeah, so I guess, but it felt like they could have, I feel like there should have been something addressed there. It was just too, they brought it up, and it was like it was never by the end.
There were a lot of
I don't remember that. What did she do? How'd she steal? I forget.
She stole from everybody. The scammer man, her cousin, whoever he was, who was coming to take the title, he was stealing from everybody in the town, right? And so when he, she called him out on it, was about to out him, and he left the city. She didn't return that money. She kept it for herself.
Yeah, he was getting donations
from all the
for
fake
the
jewelry.
monorail.
He was like selling jewelry or something, counterfeit
Yeah,
stones.
yeah.
But he was taking money. He was taking that shit, and she never
Yeah.
returned it, and I wouldn't either because she was in distress. She was about to lose everything. She has kids to take care of for her. She found a way. I appreciate her for finding a way. Yes, Lady Feather.
Absolutely. And she was dressed to the nines this whole season. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Like, where'd she get her hair done? Denise's hair shop? Because I was here for it. She had all the hair pieces, all the fascinators, all the hair pieces. She had the jewelry, the butterflies. Like, I was living.
High key, wherever Pen don't go, because Pen hair be looking kind of funky sometimes. I don't know what's up with Pen hair.
It's just the baby hairs that be like questionable. But when she wears her hair down, I'm living. I'm here. It's cute. I love it. But them little baby hairs, she can keep that. Like Cabbage Patch Kids. The painted on curls.
Oh no.
So in our part one breakdown, we did have a moment at the end of the show where we talked about the most swoon-worthiest moments, right? For me, this season did not have that. They didn't have that epic speech of love. They did have a part where Colin was speaking to Penelope about his admiration for her, but it didn't give swoon, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys thought about it. Do you feel like
there was no swoon? But you know what? I'm actually okay with that because I feel like they got away from the whole romance thing. Like they were heavy on the romance in all the other seasons with all the other couples. But this time around, we saw more of like a power struggle between the sexes. And I really like that. We didn't need the swoon-worthy thing. I was okay with just the mutual respect.
That's the problem. I'm not here. I don't watch a Regency period romance to see no goddamn character development. I come here for the romance and I come here for the love story and for the swoon. I want the vibes and I want the swoon. That's why we're here. We all know by the end of the season, Pen and Colin are going to get. We know what we're here for. And I didn't need to see all this extra stuff, all this stuff. Like for what? No.
Extra stuff, appreciation for who she is as a woman and not just as his wife.
Girl, this is the Regency. This isn't 2024. Let's get with the times.
It had to start somewhere.
No.
I swooned a little bit. I would say 2 times. Mm-hmm. The first time I swooned, and maybe just because I'm a horny bastard, but was obviously the carriage scene. Like I was gagging. I was
not with him and that golden finger.
I was here for that.
The real star of the show.
He's picked some stuff up. He's learned some things.
The PP must be small. Colin got a small PP.
Nah, girl. Nah, girl. And I thought that too. He just knew what to do for a Virginian.
Okay.
Carriage. And then again, when it was about to be time, and he was, getting ready to unleash the beast, and he started, dirty talking in her ear or whatever. I was very much so here for that. And, even though he looks a little bit like the little baby Wookiees from Star Wars, but hairless, like I was here for that because it was giving it was giving arousal. It was giving turn me on. It was giving down with the swirl ? And when he fully unveiled the things that was thanging, I was too. I was like, wait, over here, what's going on? And
girl, okay.
The shades.
I say the closest I've got to swoon was with Paul and Benedict.
Fuck.
Stop it. I mean, yeah.
This season, Paul and Benedict.
Okay, but when they were on the chase and he was like, okay, get ready. And she was like, wait a minute, there's more? Like, girl, have you ever been on some, wait a minute, there's more inches? Wait a minute. I know that. And then when it happened and they showed the whole scene, I just wasn't ready. And yeah, I was swooned because, she's been talking poetically and lovingly about him for 3 seasons now, 4 seasons now, 5 seasons, whatever we're on, a long ass time. And, he's only been talking lovingly about her in that way for a short, brief moment. But When it came
Exactly.
time to turn the screw was turned, and I was here and present.
Okay.
It didn't do anything for me. It was very awkward to see. It looked awkward to perform. And that's what came across to me. It was her first time and it definitely seemed like it. I don't think it
Yeah.
was the acting.
The
But
awkward part for me was her riding it in the last piece. It was
Okay.
2 flops and that was it. I was like, wait a minute.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on, pen? Use that pen. The pen inside.
So my question to you guys is this: did Colin redeem himself in this part 2? Because he wasn't given nothing in part 1, in my opinion.
in what sense?
Did he redeem himself with a love for Penelope and give him a little sex appeal? What do you guys think?
I got a little sex appeal. I'm not gonna lie. He knows how to. He has a way with words and a way with touch, and when he, yeah, I think when it comes down to the bedroom stuff, I think he knew exactly what to do with someone that had not done it before. He was very delicate and tender with her, and I appreciated that about him because with all the experience he had at that point, he could have been just making her hoot and holler in pain.
Okay,
but
yeah,
he didn't, and he prepared her for that initial pain.
that's true.
When it comes to redeeming himself, I think we got a taste of it with their kind of push-pull with the Lady Whistledown outcome and what she was going to do with that. I think Penelope redeemed herself more for me after that begging for a kiss.
Yes.
For more than anything. I think we missed the true redemption of Colin with that time skip.
Now,
that's what I think.
Before you answer, Danny, I wanted to address something that E-Boogie said because it kind of parallels something that I saw online, and once I saw it, I could not unsee it. Now, E-Boogie, you said that Colin looked like somebody. Who was it that you said?
I said he looked like somebody?
You said he...
I said he looked like the baby Wookiees from Star Wars.
Is that the picture you were looking
but
for?
hairless.
Because this is the picture that came up, right? And when there was something online that said, hold on, Colin kind of looked like Jack Frost.
Oh, I seen that. And yeah, I'm getting that. But you know what else I'm getting too? Now that I'm looking at that again, that close up, the Who's from Whoville.
Oh, snap.
Right? It's that nose distance. It's the distance.
But the attractive version. Like, we're not going on. He's the attractive version of the Who's and Jack Frost. He's definitely the sexier version.
I'm not seeing it.
You're not seeing it? Hold on.
You're not seeing the Who's or the Jack Frost?
I'm not seeing either.
You wild for that.
Well, what do you see?
Himself in this part, almost exclusively because of the scene that between him and Lady Featherington, where he stuck up for Penelope and said, "Yeah, I was been in love with her," and yada yada. I said, "Okay, Colin, all right, we will give you a little shots here." I do not find him he's an attractive man, but I don't find him sexy. He's not given there's a difference between attractive and sexy, and he doesn't give that sexy vibe. And I didn't feel that even through the finger and everything else. But very attractive man. But what do you think, Danny? Did he redeem himself?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no from a romantic perspective, but I will say as showing respect and consideration for Penelope, he definitely redeemed himself.
All right.
One, in standing up to her mom in that moment, sticking beside her after he found out that she was Lady Whistledown, and then giving her flowers after she revealed herself to the queen and everybody.
Okay.
Definitely stood by her like the supporting husband that he should, and showing her the love that she was asking for.
All right. And last question
Demanding.
before we end the show. Now, this is something that I've had a few debates with my sister because we differ with this question. But who's the true villain of the show?
You already know.
Yeah.
You
Who?
already know.
Because go ahead, Danny. Since you
You
have
already know it's Eloise.
Eloise.
This
Okay.
woman turned her
Mm-hmm.
back on everybody at the drop of a dime. Whenever anybody came to her in this season,
Uh-huh.
help me, do this with me. No, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Okay.
By Cressida. No, I can't help you write the column. Oh, can you help me? Help me to tell your brother that I'm Lady Whistledown. Sorry, this is your problem. I can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
This
Mm-hmm.
promenade. She's a villain.
Okay.
And then when it's convenient for her, she runs back to your side and is your friend again. And people keep eating that up. I don't
Mhm.
understand.
Yeah.
She shows no value in these relationships.
Okay. She's the
She's
villain.
not a girl's girl
She's not a
whatsoever.
girl's girl.
Mm-mm.
And it's weird because usually the not girls are like boy crazy and focused on a ring and trying to get the big catch or whatever, but it's not even that for her. For her, it's just all about her and in the sense that all about her misery because she can't even live and embody the life that she wants for herself. She's even toward the end clinging to someone else's life in order to like reinvigorate herself
Yep.
about her own existence.
Now, I let me say this. I agree with you, ladies. I feel like Eloise is definitely the true villain. I feel for Cressida. She's a mean girl, but she was trying to
Mhm.
make the best out of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, there are some who believe that Pin is the true villain, Penelope, because she is a conniving. She's throwing people under the bus, a la Lady Whistledown, and she gets to kind of wipe her slate clean under the guise of I'm a wallflower. I've had this hard existence, which is why I've been talking shit about all of you in Lady Whistledown. So that's I've seen people say that the true villain is Penelope. Now, I thought that was interesting, even though I too agree that Eloise is the true villain. Right? I agree. Um,
But that's up to them to hold her accountable. Like, yes, she wrote
Yeah.
all of those things, but now she came out about it and said, okay, that was me. Now pass your judgment. If they wanted to
Yeah.
treat her like a villain in that moment, they could have, and they decided not to. So my hands are
Because the
clean.
queen.
my thing
Yep.
is the reason why I don't feel like she's the villain is because she didn't print out one lie. This is all stuff that they was whispering and talking about
Yeah.
anyway. She just monetized it like the
Yeah.
business savvy boss woman that she was. And yeah, I don't feel like she did anything too wrong because they was already talking smack about everybody in the town anyway. She just wrote it
Exactly.
down.
She just
But
wrote it down. Thank
mhm.
you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's that. So that was pretty much all of season 3 of Bridgerton.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm not. This isn't my favorite season by far. I'm going to tell
No,
you
No.
that.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna go ahead and say it was the worst.
You think so? Ooh, yeah, I might agree. And I want to say,
Worst. Worst is that has a negative connotation when just the fact that the other seasons were better.
okay,
I'm
it's
gonna
not
say
the
it was
worst.
the
It's the
worst when it
least
came
bad.
to the romance. I thought I
Oh
was
yeah.
gonna be swooned. I was
Yeah.
not. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
Least
worse with
best. Definitely the least
Absolutely.
best.
that. The
Um,
least best, just say worse. That's
Least
what the
best.
word
That's
is
so sweet.
for.
That's so
What?
diplomatic.
the least best was definitely this season. And I want to say it wasn't helped by the fact that they split it into 2 parts. I feel like if we would
That
have
didn't help at all.
if we would have got the whole story, we got to see a little bit more of Colin sticking up for Penelope, and I feel like it would have been better. But they split it up, and it wasn't. Mm-mm. But yeah,
They were trying to leave our C words W word.
Huh?
After that carriage, right?
Oh.
What?
I get a cookies in there.
Lita,
Right. But it didn't do much for me.
yeah.
But yeah, that was all. That was the season, guys. Thank you guys for being here and rocking with us. If you like the video, please like the video. And don't forget to share it with your friends. We love talking about Bridgerton. Join us on all of our social media platforms. You can see them posted on the screen. And we will talk to you soon. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular View.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Let's do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Because
because there was no Jay White side.